All right, well, sweet. Well, Matt, thanks for taking the time to do this. First things first, how's your day going? How you been today?
Pretty good, man. I just woke up a little bit ago, so I'm yeah.
Whereabouts are you right now?
We are in near Sheboygan, Wisconsin. We have a show with Slaughter tonight. We're opening up for Slaughter at a fair deal that they have down here.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. And I mean, we got to talk about it at the start, really, more than anything else. How you been holding up over the last, well, what, 18 months ish of pandemic times?
We were going out of our minds for a little bit there, for sure. Luckily, we all lived in a house together. We lived in, or at least close to each other, and we were able to get together all the time and write music and keep ourselves sane. So that was definitely a plus.
Did it take a little while to kind of adjust to sort of the restrictions and the limitations that were in place at the start, really?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, seemed like, you know, every time they moved the goalposts a little bit, you know, to where it was like, okay, maybe we can open up next month, or okay, maybe next month. And then it just, you know, you kept having that same cycle of letdown, you know what I mean? Of like, oh shit, this festival's canceled, this show's canceled, this is, you know, and yeah, it was kind of heartbreaking, man. It would suck to see all that going on, but luckily we've been able to, things have been opening up a little bit here, and we've been able to get back on the road, and we've been back on tour for about a month now, and it feels good.
Yeah, I'll bet, man. That's some relief after such a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
What about an effect, both personally and on Blacktop Mojo overall? What kind of effect did these last 18 months have?
It definitely brought us a little closer together, I think, maybe.
That's cool.
And yeah, I mean, we had to rely on each other a lot, and get really creative with, like, you know, doing the live streams and the, you know, just trying to do something cool and keep creating and keep, you know, keep moving forward, you know, not just crumbling, you know. So it's tough.
Because it's very easy. I mean, it would have been very easy to kind of just go, right, can't do anything for a period. Let's sit down and just not do anything, and then get stuck in that pattern for what was a year and so on. So those positives then, were you searching for them constantly, or did it just come naturally?
I think we were always kind of searching a little bit, but you know, the live streams was a big thing. We were able to, me and our bass player were able to do like a weekly show and like take requests from people and kind of just have fun, and, you know, set up a little screen so we could see the comments scrolling and talk to people in real time, and like kind of, I think that really kept us sane, because it was the most like playing in the corner of a bar that I could, you know, that you could do in the middle of the pandemic, you know. So
I'd imagine, even though obviously it's great to be back out on tour and it's great to be doing, you know, what you do, you must kind of miss doing those streams a little bit, because that sounds like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, man. And you didn't have to, you know, you could do it in your underwear if you wanted to, you know. It's just you didn't have to leave the house. But yeah, no, it was cool, and it was, you know, we'd get everybody together and do that every week. So,
but obviously one major positive of this period, the upcoming release of your new album, self-titled.
Oh yeah,
of August. How are you feeling about it at this stage? We are, at this time of recording, 1 week away from release.
I honestly can't believe it's here. We've been waiting on this for a while. Tracked everything back in January, February, and just kind of been sitting on it since then. And luckily, we're out here touring and able to promote it, and, you know, give it its day in court.
How's the new music been going down live? How have people been finding it?
People have been reacting really well to it, man. We've been playing 3 or 4 of the new songs off the album, and hopefully be adding some more in after the record comes out, and kind of gradually change up the set list a little bit. But nah, man, it's been going really well. I mean, can't ask for any better reaction than what we've been getting.
That's saying that's all you can ask for. Would it have come about, the writing and making of this album? Would it have come about as quickly had we not been in this period of restrictions and lockdowns? Do you think?
Probably not, man. We probably would have been on the road and kind of having to, really schedule and be like, okay, we got to take this month off or whatever, and we got to get together. And you only got this amount of time to do that. Whereas, when you're at the house, you're just like, okay, well, we have 3 or 4 months at least before they might open things up. So let's just get together a few times a week and hash some stuff out.
And was it a very super inspired sort of period? Because were you forced to do anything particularly differently?
Not really, man. We've always, when we've been writing our records, been just get together in a room and take just certain ideas. Like somebody might have a guitar riff and somebody might have a lyric idea, a melody idea, something like that. And we take that one piece and just expound on it all together. And everybody gets to throw in their ideas, their 2 cents. And it worked a lot like that on this past record. And we just had more time to kind of tweak things and do pre-production pretty much, because that's all we could do at the time.
And having that extra time effectively to perfect things, is that something that you think, okay, going forward and whatever we do next, we might want that time again? Or do you think you'll just revert back to the old style of how you were doing it?
I think we got to find a balance for sure, because it was nice to have on some songs that maybe didn't come together as smoothly or as quickly, but there's also a beauty in having a little bit of pressure on yourself and hey, we only got this allotted amount of time, let's try to come up with something. So finding the balance between those two, because you don't want to over tweak something either. You don't want to just beat it to death, or because there's sometimes there's a perfection in that lightning rod bolt, that inspiration, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does, totally. And of course it stops you procrastinating effectively, where if you don't have no time limit, as it were, a deadline, right, then you can just keep going and going and going.
You keep being like, oh, just move this here. Yeah, whatever.
Were you guys conscious of the state of the world as you wrote and worked on the album? And did you find yourself trying not to focus on what has been obviously a pretty negative period?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I heard somebody make the joke of like, there's going to be a lot of albums that come out in the next year with the lyrics, "These 4 walls," or something like that. But so kind of trying to escape from the pandemic, kind of, really. But we do, that being said, we do have one song called "Cough" that's kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing about, just the frustration of being locked away or locked up and stuff like that. But for the most part, the album is not a pandemic album or whatever you want to call it. And it's just it's a bunch of different styles and things all thrown together, and it's our favorite types of music and all kind of mashed together. And I think it's who we are, and I think that's why we self-titled the album. So
oh, that's excellent. That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And use the word escape as well, because that's the word that comes to mind for me. This is escapism for listeners, because there's no arguing the fact that the 12 tracks offer variety, and you have a blend of pensive, reflective, and good time headbangers overall. Is that kind of what you're just hoping most people take from it? That they can, for 40 odd minutes, just escape from reality?
For sure. I think that's what we've always kind of gone for, man. Our stuff has always been, yeah, like you said, kind of headbanging, and there's some pensive, there's some stuff that'll make you think, or some stuff that, some sad stuff if you're in a sad mood, or like some slower ones, or, there's something for everybody. And I think there's definitely something for everybody on this record. I mean, there's everything from like Wicked Woman is kind of a hard driving headbanger, and Tail Lights, our other single, was a slow, bluesy type of thing. And then there's like, some power ballad type of song in there, and there's a couple of more acoustically driven type of songs, or there's a little bit of everything in there.
The word is variety, but still undoubtedly Blacktop Mojo, no doubt.
I think so, yeah.
So considering the circumstances that surrounded the creation of this album, do you think it stands out differently in the Blacktop Mojo catalogue? And do you think in a couple of years, or maybe longer, a decade, you look back at this album and think, wow, that was of that time specific?
I hope so, man. I think you always kind of hope for that. I hope I think it's our best work to date for sure. And I hope that, of course, you hope everybody else thinks that as well. But I think we're all really, really proud of this record and can't wait for everybody to hear it. So, absolutely.
So you guys have been called the best kept secret in rock. I don't know if you've ever heard that before. Best kept secret in rock. It really, really took my surprise, because even in the UK, while not a household name, Blacktop Mojo, we know you, we know who you are, we know what music you play. But it seems like it's less of a whisper now and more of a shouted thing when it comes to you guys. People are shouting your name. Are you finding that?
I think we've kind of been on a path of really slow and steady growth. And we're, one person will bring two people to the show, and then those two people will bring two people next time, and that kind of thing. And I think we're starting to get a little steady crowd of folks that are, behind us and supporting us. So I definitely agree with that.
Do you find Europe and outside America has really embraced you? Because that seems to be the case from our perspective.
Absolutely, man. We comments all the time on our videos and our, social media stuff. All kinds of comments. At least half of them are from overseas for sure. Like, when are you coming to the UK? When are you coming to Germany? When are you coming to Australia? When are you coming to wherever? Yeah, I can't wait until we get the opportunity to come see you guys.
Absolutely. And I got to ask as well, did you guys come up with the term Texas grunge? Because, that's an interesting summation of your sound. Do you think it works? And you think if you were to describe your Blacktop Mojo, you'd use those terms, Texas grunge?
Yeah, I think we didn't come up with it. There was a lady I did an interview with that she wrote her article, and that's how she described it. And I thought that was a very cool way.
Creates an image, right?
Yeah. And it just simplifies it. Like, everybody's always asking, what's your sound like? And you're like, well, we sound a little bit like this and a little bit like that. But no, Texas grunge, it brings to mind an image of grunge with a little bit of a twang, you know what I mean? And I think that definitely encompasses what we do for sure.
Yeah, because we love, in rock and metal, we love to pigeonhole. We want to stick you in a genre. Even if you play a totally varied style of music, you've got to find some spot for you. So
yeah, you gotta have a name.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're coming up with Texas grunge. It effectively is its own thing. I've never heard of that terminology before. So it's like, sweet, there's Blacktop Mojo, Texas grunge.
There you go. Yeah. I'm in agreement, man.
All right, Matt, last one then for you. So obviously you're on tour right now. What plans and what's your kind of drive and hope for the remainder of 2020 and into 2021? What are you, I guess, hoping? Because obviously we still don't know quite what you're going to be able to do.
Right. Well, I hope we just get to keep going down the path, and that everything remains open, and that we can keep carefully opening the world and bringing the world back to what it once was, especially for the live events industry and the touring industry. I think we all definitely need a little bit of live music in our lives right now, for sure. Now more than ever. People need community, and they need to, stand in a room with a bunch of strangers and scream loud rock music. It's good for the soul.
Absolutely, well said, man. Matt, thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon and help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?